First you don't succeed, try again. I will get a live stream done properly. I will get my computer done, and I will try and convert my potato laptop, or not my potato laptop, my potato internet for a carrot internet. You know, one of them will eventually work. Anyway, what's up YouTube? Darry here from 6th-8th War Games, and I've decided to start doing some different. It'd be good to do like a stream on the Monday after the long weekend and give you kind of a rundown of the meta or rundown of the locals, how it went, the top 4 decks, what was played, and just kind of give you guys a bit of an insight. What we can also do is, if any Yu-Gi-Oh news pops up throughout the day or between that time, we can go over the news as well. And then I'm just here for just general Q&A, so if any of you guys have questions, by all means let me know and I will answer those questions for you. So, I'm going to start off, before we get this meta report done, or not meta report, but the locals weekend report done, I'm going to show you a brand new card. I'm just trying to pop it up. Where are you? There we go. So, we got a brand new card, which is this one right here, in Ignition Assault. Well, we didn't, but the OCG did. So in Ignition Assault, this card is called, let me get the exact details for you. So it is a normal spell card, Talisman of Kuji-Kiri. Probably be changed in the English version anyway. So basically, it's a normal spell. You can only activate one card with this name per turn, but you send one level 9 monster from your hand or face up to your field to the graveyard to draw 2 cards. What does that mean? That means, ladies and gentlemen, that level 9 have a trade-in before level 7. So I had this conversation earlier. Level 7, there you go, so that's what it looks like as well. Level 7 still have to banish their cards. Even Red Eyes has a personal trade-in. So discard, draw 2, yeah. But for Dark Magician, they have to go, well, we have to banish our stuff? I mean, come on, bro. The only way you're getting that back is if you activate... Oh, there you go, there's my Facebook as well. Is if you activate Return from Dark Dimension. Like, who wants to play Return from Dark Dimension to get back a Dark Magician? I mean, I want to send it to the graveyard because I want to revive it with my Eternal Soul, which is the best, weakest card of the deck. I don't want to be banishing it. I mean, come on. Anyway, that's the only kind of brand new Yu-Gi-Oh card news that we've got is level 9s. So, I can't remember what they're called. There's a new one that comes out in Mystic Fighters... I think we've got the name here. Where is it? Generades? Is it Generades M9s? So there's big giant serpents that come out with Dragon Maids and come out with Math Mechs as well. So yeah, that's really kind of cool. You get those... I think we get them in November? October, November time, so we get one or two. So that's really kind of cool as well. And then on top of that, what I'm now going to do is I'm going to take you through the meta rundown for the weekend. So I went and did 3 locals this weekend. I did Borehamwood, the Pit, on the Friday. And there was... How many players was there? I think there was 16? I think there was about 16. 16 or so players. I could be wrong. Anyway, so there was 16 or so players. There's a great range of decks. And the top... I can only remember the top 3 decks, so I do apologise. But the top 3 decks was... First place was Thunder Dragons. Pure Thunder Dragons, they kind of took that one. Did really, really well. Second place, I believe, was Strikers. Third place was the one I can't remember. I can't remember if it was Orcus Lunar Lights, or if it was Dracos. I can't remember which one it was. And then in fourth was Light Swan Zombies. So that was really fun. So a little bit different. It was a good locals. Like the Borehamwood one is really, really good for new, young players. It's there's a lot of different kind of range of players in there, different kind of skill set, skill levels, and it's very, very fun up there. So definitely a shout out to the Pit guys that run that one. It gives you, they're great guys there, very, very nice and accommodating. The store's really cool, and then there's like pizza around the corner as well. So winning to duel and then have pizza on the same night. So that's really kind of cool. What did I face? So I played in that one. I played the Light Swan Zombies. I got a bye round 1. I then played Invoked in one of my rounds. I think it was round 2. I played Rockets round 1. Played something round 2. Played the Invoked round 2. And then the last round was the one that I lost. Was it Striker? It was something. It was. I think it might have even been Thunder Dragon. It basically sat me down. Like whatever it was, it just stopped my zombies. Stop. I couldn't get to any of the cards I needed. It just sat me down and it won that game. So Saturday was probably my most successful day. Really really cool day. Good locals as well. So that one was at Cockfosters. So any of you that are near London, you can get the tube straight out. Cockfosters, and that is run by the Tier Zero lot. That one's really really good. It's highly competitive, so it's a bit different from the Boreham Wood one. Highly competitive, a lot of very good players there. I mean, you guys must have seen like Zeki, Zahab, and all their kind of big players that they have as well. Joe, um, they all do massively well. They top Nats, they top regionals, all that stuff like that. So they're great to test against. They're very knowledgeable, and it always brings a nice little challenge in that one. So the top four at that one was Thunder Dragons, Dracos, Crusaders, and Strikers. So again, that was very very fun to kind of play around with. I think we did 4 rounds of Swiss. There was a bit of everything really. There was Infernoids. There was this whole Goki Storm, which we'll get to in a minute as well, because that pretty much I think that did really really well on a Sunday. And it's basically just the out Nibiru. So you can see that the consistency. There's like strikers are appearing a couple of times as well. Thunder Dragons are also appearing. So this is just a little bit different to the UK meta. So the difference between UK meta and American meta is sometimes the UK or Europe in a whole likes to play a bit more control, a bit more control based anyway, and America likes to do a lot more combo based. So really dependent on what you're facing, what you're playing as well, can really dictate what region you play in as well. Can really dictate what is going to be the it deck, what is going to be the deck you're going to face or see the most of. Moving on to the Sunday. Now, the Sunday top four was Orcus Lunar Lights, which won it. We'll get onto them in a minute because they're actually scary good. Pendulum Magicians, Goki Ramp is what I'm calling it at the moment, but it's like Goki Orcus. Oh, there we go. You can have a drop of the phone. And Altergeist as well. Hey, N1. Germany with the extra. Checking it out. So the Altergeist was an interesting one. From Michael to see how kind of they react in the new meta and with one multi-faker and stuff like that. And the one thing that Michael said was he was actually seeing multi-faker more often at 1 in his opening hand than he was seeing it at 3. So that just kind of says it all. Pendulum Magicians, hey Matt. So Matt, well done on winning Sunday. We'll get onto your deck in a minute. So Pendulum Magicians, one more needs to be said. A smart Pendulum Magician player. Cheers. I'm glad they're helping you out and that they're that's what they're there. That's what they're designed for. It's just to kind of help you guys out, give you guys a structure to build off of, and then adapt to make it your own. So the Pendulum Magicians, any smart Pendulum Magician player will, within their 5th summon, bring out a monster negator on the board, whether it be a Cerberus or whether it be a Apex Avian as well. So they're the 2 that I faced over the weekend, and they're the 2 that kind of beat me in the sense that just because if you get a monster negator in the first turn, you're not getting the buried, and that's one thing that the Pendulums will really, really fear. But after that, if they can go off and make their guard dragon combos and build their board with like 3 to possibly 4 negates, then you're in a bit of trouble. Then there's the Goki Ramp. Now the Goki Ramp is a new favourite that's kind of floating around the place at the moment in time, and the idea is you ramp your board with 4 monsters, whether it be Dangers, Orcus, whatever, but within your 4 summons, you then make your 5th summon Apollo. So that's when you negate any Nibiru. After that, you then use the Gokis to continue to flood the board, continue to use your revival. And if you do get Nibiru within your first 5 summons without having a monster negate on board, you then have the Gokis that have the ability to rebuild your board. So you're never really going to be lost. One of the tactics is you pretty much make Dingrisu and then use Apollo to protect your Dingrisu and negate and stuff as well, and it kind of just stuns your opponent out. It's not the best. It can be quite susceptible to certain things as well, so you've got to be very, very careful when you play it. But it is something that's going around right now, so you do have to keep your eyes out on that. But Gokis are still a thing. And then finally, we'll get onto the winner of Sunday, and that was Orcus Lunar Lights. Now, Lunar Lights are just scary in the sense that their pendulum monster, Tiger, just it's not a hard once per turn. It's got a built-in, like one of its own cards bounces it back to the hand. Then you play the Zephyros, which bounces it back to hand. Then you've got the chick that sends anything that can give you your OTK plays. You've got ways around Thunder Dragons. You've got the whole Orcus combo for stun and protection. Um, it's just it like it goes off. It's really really crazy powerful. The fact that Tiger isn't a hard once per turn even means if they do destroy it, Tiger special summons one from the deck. Then if you have the ability to get another Tiger, you can put them down. So if you have two Tigers and you have a way of bouncing them back continually, like it's just crazy. Like can you imagine if not Hey Trunade, but Giant Trunade was still in play that bounces all cards back to hand. Like literally, as a Lunar Light player, you'd go, okay, cool, Tiger, Tiger, revive, revive. Hey, Giant Trunade, bring them back to hand, play them again. Like that's just stupid, but that's why Giant Trunade isn't a thing right now. Not to mention that they now have the ability. This is the one that I saw Matt do. They now have the ability to get into a monster negation within their first 4 summons, and that is straight into Azathoth. So the idea is you get 2 level 4s on board, go into the level 4 Elder Entity. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. No, Nyala, something like that, and then you rank on top and go into Azathoth. So that shuts your opponent down for the entire turn. They then, of course, get to do their thing. And then they build their Orcus board. They give you the protection. They've got the Dingrisu. They've got the quick play spell. They might even have a Crescendo as well. So they've got the whole stun play. They've got the OTK play. There's certain cards that slow them down, but they're very, very specific in the sense that Effect Failure doesn't affect the chick because it sends us cost. The Tiger can just loop and loop and loop and loop. So even if you negate it with like an imperm, as long as they can bounce it back, they're going to go again. Call by the Grave can really, really hurt them. But again, they can play for a Call by the Grave if they know what they're doing. And the Lunar Lights are just really, really powerful and quite an underrated engine at this moment in time. But it is something that not a lot of people are playing right now. The Orcus, though, Orcus is everywhere. But the Lunar Light engine is a very, very good one. And again, it's quite like the Gokis. It's something to keep your eye out on because it will be something that will creep back up and will be the difference between a win and a loss in the sense that it's a little bit difficult to play against the engine. So when the stuff like Gokis is so different to the Orcus, obviously the only issue you have with the Gokis is they're not dark. So you've got to be very, very careful with that and the Lunar Lights. But if the player knows what they're doing, they do all their stuff before they lock themselves down. And then after that, they just go off. So that's what you've really, really got to keep your eye out on the upcoming format. Let's talk about. So this was the first official week with Dark Ruler No More. Hey Vegan. With Dark Ruler No More, Nibiru, and Dimension Shifter. So those 3 cards are insane. The amount of times this weekend that either I Nibiru'd someone or I got Nibiru'd was crazy. It's an incredibly powerful card. No, second weekend, isn't it? Second weekend with Nibiru. Either way, like it's the full weekend I've been able to play it properly, and everyone else has had the ability to have it as well. Nibiru, incredibly powerful card. Very, very useful. Everyone is technically playing it. Very, very good against all combo decks. It does. So, like, there's one of our players that was quite clever in the sense that, well, clever or stupid, however you want to take it. But he was like, I'm not going to waste the extra deck space on Nibiru. Yeah, combo decks have adapted, so they can actually out Nibiru. But there's a couple of times where a player might go, oh, there's no way he's got Nibiru, and they just go, all right, I'm going to go ham. And then they get caught with Nibiru. So it's really dependent on if you want to play the gamble or not. If you want to play the gamble, by all means, go for it. But there are ways around Nibiru. Yeah, Pens can play around it. Like, literally, Pens just have to make sure they've got the negate in the first 4 summons. So I played 3 Pendulum Magician players this weekend. I ended up Nibiruing twice, 2 or 3 times out of all 6 of those games. Or 9 of the games, I think some of them were 2-1s. And then the second time, so like the second Pendulum player I played was very, very cautious of it. He brought out Jackal every single time. So that made sense. The first Pendulum player I played he didn't even consider it, and he got Nibiru'd quite hard. The third Pendulum player I played, game 1, yeah, Crusader Guardians, again, you have to get a negate on board early on. The best thing with Crusaders, and I don't know, it's a bit difficult. So I'll get onto it in a minute, but I learned something this weekend which was very, very useful. The third pendulum player, Nibiru them game one, they weren't expecting it, and in game two and three they went in for Apex Avian, and that's where they started negating stuff. So yes, you do play around it, you do have to think about it, and it's one of them mind games. You could technically, if you play a deck that main decks Nibiru, you could technically go, okay, cool, Nibiru then game one, catch them off guard, then take out all your Nibirus and make your opponent fear them. Make your opponent go, right, I need to put a monster negator within my first five. I want to play around Nibiru. I'll slow them down, everything like that. Thinking you're having Nibiru, and then rather you having a brick card in your hand or a brick card in your deck, you play something else that catches your opponent off that's absolutely awesome. Playing in like Orcus right now, and I have to say it is powerful. You can play around Nibiru, you can break boards, you can do OTKs, everything. Yes, Caesar. I played Crusadia twice this weekend, and it's definitely a deck I want to. Yeah, people are playing Exchange as well. It's definitely a deck that I want to be playing. I've played it, thoroughly enjoyed it this weekend. Was incredibly powerful. Um, the only thing I haven't figured out perfectly yet is its first turn plays. Now I could build really good boards with first turn plays. So you get like Ecomax with a negate, and then because I play Super Poly, that works as well. Not to mention you can play into a Nibiru. And then I side in stuff like there can only be one. So that's the first turn plays with it. It's just not perfected yet. Like I think it's missing like one negate because you don't play the hand traps in it. It's missing that one more. Yeah, I've heard people play Orcus Orcus Engine in the side and Guard Dragons in the side. Orcus I'm considering purely because it's a smaller engine in the main deck, um, and it can work really really well. I honestly think Crusadia are going to be one of the underrated decks of this format. Um, because it has really good matchups. It has great matchups against Sky Striker. You kaiju them, they're not playing. It has really good Thunder Dragon matchup because you just go off them and that. Um, yeah, that's what I really don't want to play the Guard Dragons. That's just my personal opinion. Guard Dragons are great. They're very very powerful. I'm just trying to avoid playing the Guard Dragon combo. Um, but that's something that I might need to adapt to. That is something that I need to look into the deck a little bit more for to kind of move it around. Um, was it? So that was basically Nibiru. Dark Ruler No More. I saw it. Didn't really see it when I wanted it this weekend. Maybe once or twice. Yeah, the Azathoth, it's great going first. But that's the issue. All you're doing is shutting your opponent down going first. Yeah, I'm not a personal fan of the bomber like plays, but I know it is the thing, and that's just something that again I'll have to adapt to and play around with. Um, Yeah, so Dark Ruler No More, really, really good card. It would have helped me against my Pendulum matchups quite a lot. And there's so many decks like Thunder Dragons, like Pendulums that aren't playing back rows to chain to the Dark Ruler No More. I didn't know. So I had this conversation with someone earlier. So I had Mystic Mine as part of one of my side deck. I was going to put it into the side deck, but then I chose Dark Ruler No More over that purely for the fact that the idea was that if I play Dark Ruler No More, I can then get into the field spell, and then the field spell can just clear all their opponent's monsters. Yes, I'm not doing damage, but it lets me kind of protect him a little bit more. Uh, the Wild Nyala. Is it the fifth? I mean, what would you go? You could technically go normal summon, Magius, Draco. You'd probably skip normal summon Magius, Draco, go into the link two. That's the four. Yeah, five, six. Yeah, maybe it's a little hard to do. So yeah, the Dark Ruler No More didn't really put it's good, it's really good. I consider it over Mystic Mine because the Mystic Mine there's more outs to it than Dark Ruler. But then of course with Mystic Mine, as soon as you I mean, I get the idea. The idea is you're supposed to leave your opponent with more monsters than you do, and then just crash over them and win the game on that way. So again, that's something I'll need to consider and look into. Finally, Dimension Shifter. Dimension Shifter actually put in quite a lot of work this weekend. So I dropped it against a Sky Striker player. I dropped it against a Tenyi player, and I dropped it against. No, I think they were the two that I played it against. It really, really hurts them. Strikers just had to set and pass. The 10U player had to reconsider the way he was in playing his board. And the way I like to play it is with the Crusaders is you don't link climb. So the only thing you're losing out in your graveyard that would get banished is the Draco effect. So the idea is that during your end phase, you drop the Dimension Shifter if you've got nothing engraved, and then it curries your turn and then negates their entire turn. And when it gets back to your turn, you build up the OTK board and finish them off. If you want to risk it, you play it and then you link climb to have the negation. Yes, I did side in evening match. No, I didn't face any Dracos or Altergeists. So I played Red Reboot, of course, incredibly powerful against both those decks. So that was really, really good. Evening matched, I sided it in once or twice and never saw it, but it was in my side deck. I'm still working on the side deck, and the side deck really does come down to what you're going to face, who you're going to face, and the type of decks like that. My locals, there was only one Altergeist, but there were two true Dracos. So there was the Draco was a lot more of an option than anything else. But the whole idea is that with Red Reboot, you shut your opponent down. The idea is you would go Twin Twister, take out some of their cards, then Red Reboot to set everything, and then go for the kill. Again, someone else mentioned this about to me the other day as well about Black Garden. That it was good against strikers and stuff like that. And then my thought was, I've got to get the Black Garden on board. I've got to do the things and start giving them tokens. Whereas all I've got to do against a striker player is go Kaiju, and it's like, all right, cool. That's it. Like the only thing that I would lose to with a Kaiju is if there's got a Ray engrave and I Kaiju and it targets my attacking monster. But then the whole idea is I Kaiju them beforehand with nothing on board. They can bring the Ray back, but then they quick play out into the Kana. So you've got to make sure that you deal with that first. Other than that, you just Kaiju and then run over the Kaiju and get the game on that way. I know there's a lot of combos with the garden because you can play it. You have it on your board. You build up your board with tokens, and off you go. It's definitely something I'm considering. It's just again, it's something that you'll be playing as a one-of, and there's no real search for it without a terraform or something like that. So it's something that I'm working around with and playing around with. I only rebuilt Crusaders this weekend, so this is the first time I played Crusaders for a long, long time. I was having this conversation earlier. The last time I played it, it had the what's it called? Is it an Archfiend? It's like a little. It's a Nether Realm Archfiend or something that special summons itself if you control a spellcaster. But I know there's also that dragon that goes alongside the new charmer that we got. That if you control a spellcaster monster, you can special summon it, and it's a level 4 dragon, so that can help extend your guard dragon combos as well. But yeah, so I'm still working on it. I'm still looking to improve it, different techs, different trials around because there's only so much you can kind of do with it the way that it's currently structured. Its consistency and its going second plays are pretty much second to none. They're very, very powerful. It's just being able to consistently break boards and then abusing the boards from then on. So that's something that I seriously need to consider going forward with Crusader if I decide to take that into the future. One thing I did really, really think of, and this is where I messed up. So I messed up in my Sky Striker play. I haven't tried Yazi yet either. No, it is pretty much the build that I went with was pretty standard. It was freeze of all the Crusaders. The only thing that was different in mine was I was playing Super Poly, and I could understand why you wouldn't play Super Poly and why you would. So it just Super Poly put in so much work. I actually used it for myself. So I had a Regulex and a Maximus, and I did 61 damage. I super polyed into Mud Dragon and won game. So that was something that was really, really helpful and really, really good for me. What else is there? Yeah, so it's just pretty standard. It's something that I'm definitely working towards, and I'm definitely playing around with it, giving it a go, and we'll look at different ways to kind of use around with it. Yeah, it was really difficult because so I gave my opponent a Nibiru, and everyone was going, "Oh, do the Maximus play. You got to go into Maximus." I was like, "Bro, I haven't even got to blooming Regulex yet. I'm not even considering going into Equamax. So I made the regular X, played my Max in front of the token. The token's on like 5k or something. I then gave Maximus, gave regular X double damage, attacked, did that, and then had to go into super poly them together just to get game. I was like, oh man, that's yeah. I ended up taking like 2 minutes, like a good 2 minutes, just stopping and thinking because there was so much noise around me. I was like, I've got to figure this one out before I even attempt it, because if you super poly and you don't have game, you kind of look like a bit of a fool. Yeah, I didn't play Borrowed. I played Borrowed Sword, which I kind of don't think I need in the deck anymore, because you don't really need a boss. You shouldn't need a boss monster. Ecomax is your boss monster. That should win you games 90% of the time. Um, but again, it's something I'm looking into, playing around with it, trying to figure it out a little bit more in a bit more depth. And once I eventually figure it out, I'm probably going to be playing it quite a bit. It's just it's got the best OTK potential. It just has to be able to consistently break a board. So if it can't consistently break the board, which is why you're playing Nibiru's, Super Poly, stuff like that. Yazi with that. So you'd go Arborea plus any level 4. I get that. That goes into Yazi. Pop Yazi and I assume one of your opponent's cards. Meh. That's my assumption. I assume you bring out Meh and token into like Borrow Sword, Borrow Load. Is that a play? Link Karibo Ib. Nightmare. So you just link climb, I assume. Link climb into Borrow Sword. Okay. Yeah, I assume that's kind of like the standard play of. I just the amount of time people open up with the one mare just kind of destroys it from then on. I have considered like World Legacy Succession, Monster Reborn, stuff like that to kind of keep the consistency going. I'm trying to keep it at 40 card deck. I might have to bump it up. I'm not too sure yet. I'm part tempted to put hand traps in there for the side deck, because you go first, you catch them out with a Nibiru, then you take them out and put in your side deck cards like Imperm, and then that's where you kind of catch them off guard, because they're like, I'm expecting a Nibiru, I'm going to play around a Nibiru, and you start negating them. Yeah, Ogre as well. I think Ogre is probably one of the most underrated hand traps right now. People, because everyone goes, okay, Ash, Veiler, Imperm, and then they never consider Ogre. And when an Ogre's dropped on certain players, they're like, oh, I didn't even consider that, and they've ended up losing the game. So that's definitely something to consider playing around with as well. I'm trying to think what else I was going to talk about. So the Dark Royal no more. We did Dimension Shifter, dropping Dimension Shifter during your end phase or during your main phase 2, something like that. As long as you've got nothing in the graveyard and then you're not losing anything. All you're going to be losing is anything you discard from stuff like Twin Twisters or Super Poly or anything like that. But you're still going to be able to build your board. And if you keep your cards in your hand, you go from there. Pen isn't tier 0 because it can be broken. They can play around with everything, but it can brick as well. I know it doesn't brick on a consistent basis, because they've got stuff like P-Call, they've got Duelist Alliance, you've got the Endymions, you've got obviously Electromite, you've got the whole Guard Dragon combo that it can do as well. You then have the Endymion Master. But it can really kind of do a kickback as well. So like I said, I went to 3 locals this weekend, and only once did the Pendulum player get into the top 8. I think if you know what you're doing, you play Pendulums for a long time, you can still do very well. But I think there are just certain outs to it. If people hit the Electromite, Ogre the Electromite, or Veiler the Electromite, Imperm the Electromite, that's where it really slows them down, because then they can't get their Dark Worm back. If they don't open up the right scales, they're in a bit of trouble, even if they do the draws. Yeah, it's hands down a very good deck, very powerful deck. I think the other thing as well is Nibiru counts every monster you summon off your Pendulum summon.
So if they're not maining a Jackal, if they're not maining a Negate, they will lose game one. Then if you mind play them and make them put a monster negate in, and you don't put in Nibiru, but you put in other cards that are going to cause them issues, they're going to hold their negates off for a Nibiru. They're going to be like, okay, my opponent's just dropped a Phantasme on me. That's fine. I'm going to hold off for a Nibiru. My opponent's just done this to me. I'll wait on for the Nibiru. I'm going to Ash you, Ogre you, Veil you, Imperm you, and you're just going to hold off, hold off, hold off, hold off, and then you go, maybe he's not even playing a Nibiru. And by the time they've done that, they've already finished you off. Like, Orcus can break the board, Salads. That's another thing, Salads. Haven't even talked about Salads. Thanos reprint, my money is on the Dual Devastator that comes out in October. So it's supposed to have side deck cards and it's supposed to have extra deck cards. Thanos has only had one print. It's a very, very popular card. I would not be surprised if it's a incredibly short printed but accessible card in that. I mean, not that it needs to be, because the Dual Devastator, just by having all the new alternate arts for the hand traps, is going to sell that set anyway. But if you then throw in a Thanos, even if the Thanos was something like one every 1 or 2 cases, not that you'll announce that that's what the ratios are, but people will still buy it. Not the full set is guaranteed, from my understanding. I thought the only things that were guaranteed were the hand traps, because then it's a 60 card set. Let's have a look. Bum, 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 bum. It's a Dual Devastator, isn't it? Devastator. It comes out in October. I think it retails at like Chaos Cards are selling it for $28.95. Let's see. Okay, deck and strategies. Yeah, so it's a 56 ultra rare card set. So you don't get a guarantee of everything. Headlined by spectacular new variant artworks of Ash, Ogre, Reaper, Belle, and Ghost Sister. 5 of the most famous and most frequently played cards in the entire year. Duels have changed a lot since the monsters came out in 2017. Now you can turbo duel extra deck, side deck that trained that we went through top tournament winning decks from the past year and put 30 of the most popular side deck choices in, and 20 extra deck monsters. Each Dual Devastator box comes with the following. So you get all the Ghost Girls, a new 6th ultra rare monster. So this is that it's the level 1 zombie thing. I can't remember exactly what it does. 20 ultra rare extra rare monsters, including powerhouse cards like Saruja Scrolldread, Trisha the Dragon, the Ice Barrier, as well as always useful utility monsters like Abyss Dweller and Tornado Dragon. So Abyss Dweller actually gets an ultra rare rarity bump. 30 more ultra rare cards that would work great in your side deck, like powerful strategies such as Inspector Border, Spell Canceller, Solemn Strike, Super Poly, Typhoon, and Wave Motion Cannon. You get 4 of 12 field centers, 6 featuring the new monster artwork from Dual Devastator, as well as 6 featuring characters from the original Yu-Gi-Oh series: Yugi, Kaiba, Joey, Pegasus, Mai, and Isuzu. Whichever field center card you are using. Oh, well, it does. Yeah, all total, each Dual Devastator box includes 56 ultra rare cards, 5 ultra rare variants, 1 new ultra rare, 20 extra deck monsters, and 30 cards for your side. Wow, that's insane. I didn't even think it was guaranteed. That can't be right. You're getting 56 cards plus 4 field centers for like 30 quid. All total, each Dual Devastator box includes. I didn't realize it was that busted. I thought it was going to be like, here, you can have the promos, and then you can have, it would be like a Megatin, you can have 3 packs. That's crazy. So the only reason you'd buy multiples of these would be to get multiple versions of the Ghost Girls, or to get a playset of the Ghost Girls, and then to complete the Field Center collection. So yeah, that's insane. Okay, I'll tell you about now that I know that it's guaranteed. My best product of the year was going to be the Megatins, just because the promos were insane and the card you got in it was insane. But the fact that this is guaranteed, it means if you were to spend 90 quid on average, it might be a little bit cheaper when they come out or anything like that, but you spend 90 quid, you get 3 Saruja Skull Dreads, which are currently sitting at anywhere between 20 to 30 quid. You'd get Ash Ogre. So Ash is sitting at about 7 quid for an Ultra. You'd get a Ghost Ogre, which is like 5 quid for an Ultra. Oh, I don't want to rotate my device. A Rinter Chase is like £1. So I'm just trying to do the maths quickly in my head. Ghost Spell, let's say Ghost Spell's a £5 for an Ultra. Dogwood is currently about 10 quid. So straight away that's, I'm just going to go 5, 10, 15, 25, 45. So just by buying one box, you've got 45 quid of worth of value, of current value, just with the 5 Ghost Girls and the Saruja. You then get Super Poly as an Ultra, which is currently sitting at, like, I think a common's like 5 quid. You then get a Typhoon, which a Super is currently sitting at about 5 quid. Inspector Baller, about 5 quid. Solemn Strike, probably about 5 quid, maybe a little bit less. Spell Canceller, 15 quid, which is obviously going to be a lot less now. Wave Motion Cannon, which was like 25, I think it was like 50 quid for a common or something like that. You're now getting that as an Ultra. Not to mention anything else they announce, plus the Field Centers, which have got to be worth about £1 each. So you're going to get 4 quid off of that. So just in one box, at base minimum, with the cards we know you're getting, you've plussed about 15 quid's worth of value. Now, obviously, keep in mind, everything's going to go down when these come out. Now, they've still got to announce 1, 2, 3, 4. They've still got to announce 16 extra deck monsters for this. And they've still got to announce 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 25 more for the side deck cards. They could be anything. If they really... Alright, let's say worst case scenario. Let's say worst case scenario, they go, we've already announced all the good stuff. We're going to give you loads of crap stuff now. You could still argue that a Denko could be in there. And Denko definitely needs a reprint. It's only had 2 prints. You could argue... Alright, let's say they put Twin Twisters, they put MSTs, they put... Lanciers, they put in Dino Wrestler Prankotops, okay? You still argue that there could be DD Crow, there could be evenly matched, there could only be one. Summon limit if they really wanted to. If they want to put the floodgates in there for side deck cards, they can put floodgates in there. If they wanted to break the bank, they could put Thanos in there, they could put every expensive card in there. That would wreck the second-hand market. As long as they print enough of these. If they don't print enough of these, then, you know, there's a little bit of trouble. If they print enough of these, everyone's going to have access to the cards, which I think is great. Like, Thanos Dragons are sitting at like 70 quid each, maybe more. So, yeah, I think that would be insane. I did not realise they were guaranteed. That is amazing. So, got to be product of the year, really. Let's just hope that retailers don't go crazy and start selling them for 50 quid a box or something like that, but you never know. They get, like, the locals could just rip them open and start selling the singles, but then all it takes is for one local store, like so I don't know where you're from, Vegan. I don't know if you're UK or US. All it would take for us technically would be like a Tesco's and Asda, or just a general retailer that's not going to be able to sell singles, that buys the product in, puts it up on their shelves, they'll fly off the shelves. So, and I'm pretty sure that Germany, yeah, so the European market, I don't know what your equivalent out over in Germany is for stuff like not locals, not card shops, nothing like that, just general convenience stores and shopping markets, stuff like that. It's too easy. Like, places like Amazon as well will have stuff like this. Even if you're paying, like I said, it goes for $40. If you were to pay 40 quid or 40 euros, you're still making your money's worth, like, in the value cards, if you don't already have the cards, of course. And then after that, if this set does sell out quite loads, if you were to hold on to some of these cards, because they're generic staple cards and very, very good in the format, if you were to hold on to them again over time, the prices will slowly start to increase. So, in my opinion, it's definitely a set worth investing in. And I don't recall, apart from a structure deck, there ever being a Yu-Gi-Oh set that you get everything in one and every card is guaranteed. So, this could be a nice turning block for the Yu-Gi-Oh game, which I think would be really, really cool. Yeah, anyway, unless there is any more questions, probably going to wrap up the video for today. Yeah, legendary decks, I suppose. But I mean, like, just like a side set. Like, you can buy 40, 50 quid card, like 50 quid boxes today, and you're not even guaranteed to get one of every secret. And we already know my feelings on sets like that. Um, and even again, look at the legendary decks. You can buy seal. You have to pay like 40, 50 quid for a legendary deck sealed one. Apprentice Illusions only ever had one print, and two if you include the jump promo. They're now sitting at like 10 quids each, I think, maybe a little bit more. You had like Ties of the Brethren. You have what else was exclusive to those? Eternal Soul was originally an exclusive for that as well. So some of those cards, Bardiche, they're all worth a little bit of money as well. I think this set's going to be insane, and it's due to come out 11th of October. I think it was 10th of 11th of October. So that'll be very, very good to kind of see how that goes about. So yeah, this is it for. It's supposed to be a locals breakdown. It's been a 40-minute live stream of just having a good old chinwag about Crusaders and everything else that's going around in the meta, the breakdown of the three brand new cards we've got, and even a little topic of Dual Devastator. Not to mention the brand new card that we get, which is like a trade in for level 9s. So that is it, video. Please, again, if you haven't subscribed, please subscribe. Hit the like button. Hit the notification bell so you don't miss out on anything. We are crawling towards our 15,000 subscriber mark. That is our goal before our next year anniversary, which I believe will be our 4th year. If we can hit our 15,000 subscriber mark, that would be amazing. And I'm gonna hopefully, if kind of like I might do these as short videos or short streams or pre-recorded videos. A locals report. If you guys want to see that more often on a Monday, like the first thing of the week, get a report of the local weekend and how it went, then I'll be more than happy to do that for you guys, especially if there's regionals as well. Because I know there's a regional in Milton Keynes this weekend, and a couple of the guys are going to that. So best of luck to them that go. Yeah, this will be a video. I can't guarantee the quality because the live streams on this just really want to mess with me because my internet is a potato. But yeah, we can go from there. Anyway, thanks for watching. Don't forget to like, comment, subscribe, share. And until next time, guys, as always, happy dueling.